Okay, let's try that again now that I am unmuted. Hello. This is my first sprints on this channel by myself. And they're impromptu, so I have no idea if anybody is going to come, but that is okay because I need to read anyway. So we're just going to sprint and see what happens and go from there. So I started this afternoon my rom-comathon TBR. I could have started another book, but rom-comathon starts tomorrow, and I just didn't want to. And I just didn't want to start a book and have to put it down to start my rom-comathon TBR. So I just decided to just do my rom-comathon TBR. So I am reading The Love Hypothesis. Hey, Neva. How are you? Are you at work or are you at home? What are you up to? So I'm reading The Love Hypothesis. I am 50 pages in, so I'm not very far. So far, so good. So far, I'm enjoying it. Again, I do like fake dating. That is a trope that I tend to like when I do contemporary romance, just because I think it's just one of those things that I like in a rom-com movie, like a Hallmark movie. The fake dating thing is always fun to watch. So I enjoyed in a book too. Although, I think Aoife was saying this on her sprints earlier this week. Nobody does that in real life. It's not real, but it's fine. The only thing that I have all of a sudden have issue with is that they keep describing this man as broad-shouldered with muscles. And I'm sorry, that's not the vibe I get from the man on the cover. So they maybe could have illustrated the cover to match the writing a little bit better. But that's my only thing about it. Leaving work right now. Yay! I'm so glad you're done work. That's exciting. This was your first full weekend at work. Or sorry, your last full weekend at work at this job, right? Didn't I hear that? I'm pretty sure you told me that. Should be home in 20 minutes. I hope you're loving the book. I am so far. Like I said, I'm only 50 pages in. So, only 50 pages in. But so far, liking it. The only issue I have is that the cover doesn't really match the description of the man in his broad shoulders and things. But that's neither here nor there. If you are just hopping on, let us know what you are reading in the comments. I finally bought some fall bookmarks. I ordered them from Gigi and Bo. If you haven't tried Gigi and Bo bookmarks, I'm actually using one of her bookmarks right now, but I decided to go with Romicon romance vibes for Romicon. But I love her bookmarks, and she just did a release, I think yesterday, of a whole bunch of new fall bookmarks, and I'm just so excited. I got such cute ghost bookmarks, and I have a bookmark addiction. I don't know if anybody else does. I have tons. So, that's a thing. Ooh. My last full week at this job. Yes, I thought that was it. I'm so excited for you, Neva. Thank you, Sarah. I so appreciate you being here. You were so sweet. I was on your sprints earlier, and I was depends on when Sarah's. I was debating. I was well, Sarah goes into the night. I won't. And then if you didn't, I was I'll do sprints because not very many people are sprinting tonight. So I need to read. I have a TBR that is the size of the stack is just insane. And then I did my rolls for Bookoplathon. And I didn't get a ton of extra rolls, but it wasn't kind to me in the fact that the rolls I did get, my mandatory books do not fit the prompts. And I'm excuse you. So that just means I have to add books, but that's okay. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for joining. A biography. What biography are you reading? I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I should get better. at reading nonfiction, but it's not something that I read a lot of. But I know that I need to do it. I think we're going to be doing like 3 sprints tonight, like a 15, 45, 10, 50 situation. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, I have a lot of reading to do. And I have my coffee. I just went and got it because, 7 o'clock here and I need coffee. So that's what we're doing. Hello, Kelly. Thanks for coming. What are you reading? Sarah. I want to do Book-Up-a-thon, but I'm already doing like a book by Bam Bingo thing, right? It's hard to mix more than one thing at a time. It's very stressful. Well, it's just because I'm doing your Twilight read-along, so I need to get New Moon in there. I have a book club on my Instagram with my best friend, my best Instagram, Kelsey. So I needed to get our book on there. And there's, I think, 3 or 4 other books that I can't think of right now that are for read-alongs, readathons that I have to read. And I'm just like, you couldn't all work for at least some of these prompts, but no, they couldn't. So I'm going to do the TBR video. I'm hoping to film it tomorrow. I was going to film it today, but it was hot here. Like it was so hot. And to film, I have to turn off all the fans and air conditioning, or that's all you hear in my video. And frankly, it was just too hot for that. So I'm going to film the TBR video. It'll be out next week. And I just know that I'm probably not going to read all the books, but I'm going to do my best. And that's all we can do, isn't it? Ooh, I actually know that there's another book with okay, I need to look into this because I'm actually highly interested in Lizzie Borden. Like, I think it's a really interesting time in history. So I would really like to read that book. Oh, still reading The Friendship Pack? Yes, by Jill Chalves. I'm guaranteedly have butchered that last name. But is it good? Are you enjoying it? Yes, New Moon. Yay. Yeah, New Moon's my least favorite too. I agree with this comment 100%. See, I was like the perfect age when Twilight came out. I was 15 when Twilight came out. So like I was like, I was the perfect age when Twilight came out the first time. So it's all nostalgia for me. And I'm just enjoying reading them once a month. There's such and I know there's problems with the Twilight books, and I know that they are not good literature and they are trash, but like I still love them. And you can't take that away from me, frankly. There's nothing that can be done about it. Good. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Yes, please do. Because I'd like to read that. That sounds good. That sounds really good. So yeah, that's good. Oh, one sec. I'm going to start getting the cat set up, and we might just jump right into a sprint. Like I said, I think we'll do like 3 sprints tonight, which will take me to about 10 o'clock my time, 9:30, 10 o'clock. I don't know what time zone everybody else is in, probably a later time zone. I'm on the very east coast of Canada, so my time zone's a little weird, but let's get going and do our first sprint. Get it to share. Okay, happy sprinting, everybody. Hello, everybody. Ooh. Hello? There we go. I was like, wait a second. I think I heard myself. I was like, wait a minute. That was weird. We have Neva.
Hi,
Everybody
y'all.
say hi. She just got home from work, so she's a rock star. Being on sprints right after work, because I probably wouldn't. I actually had a pretty good sprint, though, although I talked to Neva for a little bit. And I read 33 pages of The Love Hypothesis. I am liking this. It's a little bit like, I don't know, it's like rom-com Inception a little bit, because they're like talking about fake dating tropes in a fake dating trope book. Like, it's a little weird. Hi, Ari.
I've read that book before, Ori. I've read it before.
Like, that's a little weird, but like not in a bad way, just in a like, okay, way. But I'm only 80 pages in, so I'm not like crazy through it yet.
Well, I had to drive home during that sprint. By drive home, I mean Sam came and picked me up.
As one does after work. Yeah, no problem. We will forgive you for not reading during that sprint as you were coming home from work.
Yes, you can pick me up. But I did get 8 pages read of You're Invited. Listen, I'm on page 72. I don't know why people are hating this book. I'm going to finish it. Okay. I'm gonna finish it and see, and then look at reviews for it. Put it back, please.
Yeah, and see what people are like saying is their issues with it.
Yeah.
Although I will say, like, I do read reviews, but like I'm okay liking a book that people don't like, and I'm also okay hating a book that people like. Like, it happens. It's just part of the part of it.
What I'm worried about with reading the reviews is that something will spoil like the twist, because this is a thriller.
100%. No, so I never read them until I'm done.
Yeah, I don't want to read the reviews until I'm done, because there's really only, I talked about it a little bit on my sprints last night. There's only one thing in here so far that I'm like, well, maybe that's why people don't like it. There's like a BDSM element to this book, but it doesn't fit very well.
Gotcha.
Like the main, like in the first chapter, the main character is talking about this like monthly engagement. I'm not like against that or anything, but it doesn't really, I'm not understanding how it fits in the book, because she's obviously a psychopath. Like she she has thoughts of like killing people, but I'm not sure. I don't know, like but that part of it doesn't, even for me, like I'm like, this doesn't really, like, I don't know where this fits.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes with a thriller, like you can't really appreciate the whole thing until you know the twist, because the twist can, with a thriller, a twist can make it or break it. Like it can be like, it can be a horrible book leading up, and then the twist happens and you're like, oh, that's why it was horrible. Like it was necessary to make this happen. Or it can be a good book leading up, and then you're like, what the heck has just happened? Like, what did they do to us? Like,
that's how I was with The House Across the Lake. A lot of people were like, I hated the twist. I liked the twist, but I felt like all we got before the twist was just listening about this main character and how much he drinks. And I was not bored, but like I didn't care.
Spoilers for my Thursday vlog. It's a vlog of me reading thrillers. And frankly, it's me singing praises about Verity and then complaining about 2 other books. So that's fun. Look forward to that, y'all. So question, is In Praise the name of the book?
Or is it Praise? Like reach 66%.
What's the name of the book? Praise. Just so that I know, because I'm curious. And I love this quote too. No 2 people read the same book. That's so true, because reading is very subjective. It's very subjective. So
it truly is. It truly is. That's why I like when you like, I'm reading The Love Hypothesis. Listen, I hope that everyone loves every book they read. I really do. But when people, people will be like, you didn't like this book, and I'll be like, no. But I don't know. Like, I'm very upfront about whether I like something or if
Yeah.
like if there's an author that's problematic. So like I choose not to buy their things anymore. I will also own the fact that there are books by authors that are problematic that I still read.
And
Twilight series.
also, I think this is a great point, is that there's sometimes you don't even know, like sometimes authors say things and you can't be on top of every controversy. I try, but like, Lord, there's a lot. So like, if I say something about an author and later you're like, hey, this happened, I'll be like, oh, I didn't. I was unaware. Like,
now, like James
it
Patterson,
happens.
I wanted to buy the book Run Rose Run that he did with Dolly Parton before I knew that there was an issue. And then I said something to someone else and they were like, oh, I don't buy James Patterson because he made this statement. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to still buy this book because like I want it. But now I know going forward that I probably will not buy anything else from him because of that. It's just like with like Harry Potter is always my example. And then like Michelle was talking about it in her last vlog with Twilight. The author of Harry Okay, we'll watch it. You want to watch it?
Perfect. So it's Praised by Sarah Kate. I'm going to look this up because I don't know this book.
Yeah, I will. Okay, Ari. I will be the first one to say, like, yes, I still reread the Harry Potter series every year, but like, will I ever buy anything else by that author? No. Like, I will. Like, I don't buy merch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't buy any of those things.
Yeah. Well, and even with the Twilight books, we're doing for the Twilight read along, they're doing the novella too, which I didn't have. I've never read the novella and I did not own it. So I bought it at a thrift store, which I feel like is a little bit, better. Because again, you're just buying and I'm supporting a charity thrift store like that. I would prefer to do than like buy it off Amazon.
Yeah.
Or from Chapters or whatever.
I borrowed the first one from the library. It's a series that I would like to have on my shelf just because it is a series that like got me into reading.
I guess that this was spicy when I just looked it up and saw the cover. Like the cover's kind of given away. Sometimes you know what I'm talking about. Like there's a cover in romance that is just like man torso, like man on front of book. That just goes, that's gonna be a spicy book. And that's the way it is. They have a look to them.
I have one book on my shelf that's like that, and I got it. Actually, like an Instagram book friend sent it to me so that I could participate in a group read of this book, and it's a great book. I get 5 stars. And I'm now like waiting to find out if I got on this author's ARC team because she's about to bring out another book.
Oh, nice.
But it came in the mail and I opened it in front of Sam and Mariah, and Sam was like, that's a spicy book, isn't it? And Mariah was like, well, the half-naked man next to the motorcycle.
100%. Half the time the man's face isn't even on the book. It's just torso. Like who cares about what his face looks like?
Now I will give it that this book, it's like the motorcycle with like the full body shot of the man. Right. So like that's cool. But like I was like, yes, it's a spicy book. Like it's not very discreet.
I will say I don't read a lot of romance. Like I don't read I read it occasionally, but not often. Like it's not a genre that I would say that I read a lot of. But you know what? Lately I'm kind of excited for rom-comathon because I'm excited to, to try some more contemporary romance. I will be surprised if this is a 5-star for me, but at this point I could see it being a 4-star. Like I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. But again, I'm only 80 pages in, so it's still real early to be saying what I think. It is different for contemporary. Like, again, I don't read a lot of contemporary romance, but I could see why people talked about this because it is written differently, in my opinion, from like other contemporary romance. Like, just the writing is different.
So I don't know if you know this. I went in knowing this, but I didn't care because I've not watched any of the like spin-offs and stuff or extra movies that they've had in the Star Wars franchise, but apparently it's the love hypothesis is Kylo Ren, I think, fan fiction.
I knew that, which means very little to me, to be truthfully.
Yeah, like people were like, this is fan fiction, and I was like, fan fiction of what? And they were like, Star Wars, and I was like, who in Star Wars? And they were like, Kylo Ren. I was like, who is that? And they were like, Adam Driver's character, and I was like, yeah, I've seen none of those.
So, I mean, okay, I can see that because like the character on the front somewhat has an Adam Driver look. However, I was saying this in the first sprint. I don't know if you were here. The descriptions of the gentleman in the first 80 pages does not match the description of the man on the cover. She's like, he's so muscly and he's so broad. And I'm like, this man is not muscly or broad. This man is none of those things.
He's supposed to be like muscular and broad and tall.
I mean, this man is tall. They hit the tall, but that's like really all they hit.
Like he's supposed to be like unrealistically tall. Like I don't know. There's a lot of descriptions of how tall the man is, and I'm like, I don't care that much. Tell me what.
I love this comment. No face is needed. I love it. It's true.
Right. Oh, I did start my first book for Rom-Comathon last night. Because they gave me A Touch of Darkness, which is like Hades and Persephone. It's supposed to be spicy. But they gave it to me.
Good. I've heard good things about that.
But I only have it for 7 days because they gave me like the lucky you, whatever. So I was like, well, I'm going to start this tonight. So I started last night. It's good so far. It's like fine. Like it's not spicy yet. So like I'm waiting for it. But it doesn't seem to be like a super long book. So if I like this series, I think I'm going to buy it.
I feel like someone I know read that recently, but for the life of me, cannot remember who that was. I cannot handle. Yeah, at this point, I'm only 80 pages in, but like most spicy books by 80 pages should have had something happening. So I will give you that.
Here's my thing. Okay. So the first contemporary romance that I ever gave 5 stars, I'm actually thinking of rereading it for Rom-Comathon because I listened to the audio. But it was spoiler alert. So like the rep, like the plus size rep in that book was really good. And also like the spice level was way more than I anticipated because I knew going in that it was a contemporary romance and it was much spicier than I thought it would be. But like when people were talking about the love hypothesis on TikTok and they were like, yeah, this book is so spicy. I was like, what have y'all been reading? What have y'all been reading? Because if y'all think this is spicy, please do not ever come to my anything. Any of my
don't read a KU book because you won't survive.
Right. Because I'm over here reading like Sophie Lark.
Yeah. No.
And I'm like,
the one thing this really reminds me of The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. It's obviously not the exact same, but it has like similar vibes in my opinion, like with the science elements and the fake dating and the whole thing, which I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars. I don't love this as much as that, but I could compare them at this point. Like they're comparable to me. And who in their right mind says Nicholas Sparks is spicy?
Nicholas Sparks. Okay, listen. I'll say this. I don't read. I do not read Nicholas Sparks anymore because he is very anti-LGBTQ and I'm not about that life. But in high school, I went through a huge Nicholas Sparks thing because this is so weird. But my great grandma and my opa, so my grandpa on my mom's side, and then his mom, I grew up with them my whole life, right? So they would read books and then give them to me to read. So Nicholas Sparks was my introduction to romance because my great grandma would not let me read Harlequin romance, which is what she read. She was like, absolutely no. Nicholas Sparks, when I was young and innocent and knew nothing of spice, is spiciest thing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. But like, no.
As a grown adult, though, and like some of these people are grown adults with children. So y'all had to do things to get those children. And
No,
I'm like, this is
it's
the
not.
spiciest thing you've ever read.
It's almost Fade to Black, really.
Almost all of Nicholas Sparks is Fade to Black.
So like, no.
But if it is on page, it's that like, and then I felt the greatest euphoria of my life. And that's it.
I was waiting to see how you were going to describe this, and I was like, this is going to be interesting. I'm excited for this.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it'll be
Totally.
like, and then all I saw was sparks explode behind my eyelids. Like it's that kind of thing. That's not spicy. That's
No.
just
It's literally not at all. It's really, yeah, no. But I will say, I'm not the expert on spicy books. Like, I don't read a lot of romance at all. But this week for Rom-Comathon, I'm reading contemporary romance. I am certainly not reading anything super spicy. I would say this is probably the spiciest book on my TBR. Oh, no, maybe Tessa Bailey's book. Either way, neither of them are that spicy. But, you know. And then we had a magical night together. Yeah, exactly. That's Nicholas Sparks level of stuff. Okay, I'm going to put us into another sprint, and let's get, hold on, let me get the cat up. Like, where's the cat? I decided to make the cat Halloweeny. I don't know if anyone noticed. I went orange black. I was like, Halloween kitty.
I did that on mine, but I made the background orange and the cat is like black with orange eyes. So I was like, I'm trying to do like a fall thing here.
I'm like, we had fall weather for a good week here. Like it was fall weather. And then the last 2 days have been hot as all get out. And I'm not for it. I'm against it completely. I would like to unsubscribe. So like I'm over it.
Same.
Okay, let's sprint. Hello. How did everybody do? I'm actually really starting to like this. And I know you didn't, and that's okay. I'm actually really surprised how much I'm liking this. Like a lot. And I think one of the reasons is I love when characters have like a really sarcastic humor. And I find she does quite a bit, and so does he to some extent. And that's just like how I am with like, so I relate to that. And I'm surprised how much I'm liking this. I wasn't anticipating to like it as much as I am. And I'm like, oh no, I'm falling into the hype. I agree with the hype. That never happens. What is going on? What is happening?
I read 5 pages of You're Invited because I finished the chapter. And then I read 24 pages of A Touch of Darkness. It's not a rom-com, y'all. I didn't think it was. I was pretty sure it was dark romance. But I'm still gonna count it as one of my things, like for rom-comathon, because the rest of what I have, like I have another Allie Hazelwood book.
Is it Love on the Brain?
Maybe, I don't know. It has a pink.
That's her new book. That's her new book that just came out.
Under One Roof is the one I have.
Oh, yeah, that's her new book. Is that her new book? I'm confused now.
I don't know, but Under One Roof is the one that I have. Because I want to like Allie Hazelwood. I really think that the reason I didn't like The Love Hypothesis, I feel like it's a me thing. I feel like it's a me pet peeve. I really like, because I've seen other people say that they didn't like The Love Hypothesis for other reasons, but no one that I've seen has said why I didn't like it.
When I'm done reading it, you'll have to tell me, because you mentioned this a couple times, and I'm like, don't tell me now because I don't want to be spoiled. But when I'm done, which it won't be long because it's a romance, so they read fast.
Yeah, it's not a long book.
Like I expect to be done this Tuesday at the absolute latest, maybe tomorrow. It just depends on how much reading I get in.
Right. Just message me when you're done with it, and I'll tell you why.
I will.
But Touch of Darkness.
Yeah. Spicy?
We're not. So it's I mean, I think it's going to get spicy. It's spicy in that way that dark romance likes to be spicy, where they like, it's like, you know, the mysterious man walks up behind, you know, approaches the female, like the heroine, right? So like our hero approaches the heroine and she like feels the tingles and all those things. That's like where we're at.
Gotcha. Also, just so everybody knows, Aoife said any type of romances count. They didn't have to be rom-coms. Because I think just to be inclusive for people, because I know like some people read a lot of historical romance. And obviously that's not really a rom-com, but like it should, you know, it can count. We're all inclusive here.
Yeah, and some people aren't going to read a rom-com.
Where me, I'm either like this is my level of romance just because I don't read a lot. Like this is about my level. I mean, I have read spicier books, but it's not something that I like
gravitate toward.
I don't pick them out to pick them out. No, not really.
Yeah. And I'm a dark romance, taboo romance kind of person. I like the romance, but I need other elements to it than just the romance part. I think that's why I like Colleen Hoover so much, because Colleen Hoover, you could call her contemporary romance, but she always has other things laced into her stories that also grip you. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
That's why when Late Night Crew did 72 Hours in the Smut Den, I did not vlog that because it was right before I started a channel.
But also I did not participate in that because I was like, this doesn't fit my reading.
Right.
But I know there's like another one with like a different genre.
I think so. They had like a poll running in their Discord. It was like, decide, like, let us know if you want to do the same thing again. Or if you want to do a different genre. With 70, what I liked about 72 Hours in the Smut Den was that they had a light wheel and a dark wheel. So you could, if you spun the light wheel, those were prompts that fit contemporary romance, rom-com,
right.
historical fiction. I mean, I spun all on the dark wheel, but like I knew that I was going to do that because it was very much like dark romance, taboo romance kind of prompts on the dark wheel. So
yeah, 30 pages, awesome. Oh, it's stormy where you are. I would kill for a storm. I would be like, please let it rain.
We had rain and storms yesterday, just enough that it knocked my internet out for like 2 seconds. And I was like, this is so nice. Thank you. And then today it was hot, which I know that
my son would have nothing. Like if the power goes out or anything, he's like, no, I don't, no, can't, like, no.
Can't do it. Yeah, Ari doesn't like it.
The fact that something is broken, it's not so much that he needs it. It's just the fact that something's broken is like frustrating, which I can relate to.
Is that if the power goes out, then she'll be like, I was watching my show. That's usually what I get from Ari. And I know that me saying that it was hot today is contradictory since I'm wearing a hoodie, but it was cold at my work and I had to keep going in the freezer.
15 pages? No, that's really good. Like, I don't even think that's slow. Like, I don't, because
I only read as many pages of this as I did because it's on my Kindle. When I read,
the pages are weird.
I read so much slower physically. Like, I can only read one full chapter in about an hour's sprint of this book, and the chapters aren't like crazy long. They're long, but they're not crazy long. And I can only get one physical chapter read.
And I also think reading speed, the more you read, like I remember when I first started watching sprints like a year ago when I first discovered BookTube. And I'd be like, I can only read like 9 pages in that time. Like I could not read as fast because I wasn't reading as much. So the more you read, the faster you get. Although I will never be the people who read like 100 pages and it's like I don't
absolutely
I don't understand. But
like, I commend those people. I think it's great
them, but like I
can't do it. I can't do that. I think the most I've ever read, like in a sprint at one time, was like 50 pages. But also, I was immersion reading, and I read much faster when I'm immersion reading because I figure out how fast my eyes are going across the page, and that's what I bump the audio to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get a lot more read. I mean, obviously I read much faster if I'm doing audio because I speed it up. But
absolutely.
But reading on my Kindle, because I can adjust the size and the font, like the size of the font and the font itself, I read so much faster on my Kindle.
Yeah, I need to get a Kindle. I just don't know if it's worth it, because I don't read a lot of audiobooks. Do you know what I mean? Like I really only read NetGalley. Like that's the only time I read an audiobook. And I don't even know if it's easy to get NetGalley arcs onto your Kindle. Like I don't know if that is an easy thing or a difficult thing.
So here's what you have to do. Like when you buy a Kindle, is there's a setting like in your Amazon account for your device that you will set, like you will put in like the NetGalley email so that it will send it. And then literally once you do that and approve that email, when you get a NetGalley arc, you just hit send to Kindle and it just drops it into your Kindle. So
that is easy then.
It can take, they claim it can take up to 24 hours. I've always gotten my Kindle ebooks in less than 5 minutes if I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. So, but I think it's worth, if you do a lot of NetGalley arcs or a lot of arcs where people are sending you ebooks, I think that it's worth it. I originally only used my Kindle for NetGalley arcs. And then I was like, wow, I really like the experience of being able to just throw this in my bag. True. And I was like traveling a lot when I got my Kindle when did I get it? 2020, the end of 2020, I think. So I was traveling a lot because like my mom had passed away. So I was like dealing with that stuff. But then when we moved from Florida and I had to leave all my books behind, which is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
All I had was my Kindle. So I got so used to reading my Kindle. Now this thing goes with me everywhere.
Yeah. I've been thinking about getting one just because the iPad's so huge to hold. Like, it's massive. So to like hold it when you're reading an ebook is like kind of a pain because it's just huge. Like, the Kindle's so nice and small to hold. So
yeah,
I do. I know I need a Kindle. I just need it for NetGalley. That's really the only reason I need it. But like, I'd probably get KU too, just because, why
and
not?
then also I am terrible at returning my library books. So I don't really buy ebooks. Like, my Kindle at this point, because I'm now back to reading physical and audio, my Kindle at this point is used for Kindle Unlimited, NetGalley, and library. Because I'm really bad at like checking out library books and then forgetting to return them. Like, I'll just keep renewing them until they're like, hey man, we need it back.
Our library during COVID decided to get rid of like fines.
Yeah,
and
ours did too.
I was like, that is a horrible plan, because now I have absolutely I have nothing that is keeping me on, like,
ours still doesn't have book fines. Now, you will get fined for like multimedia, but like who borrows DVDs or CDs anymore? No one. Literally no one. And plus, like, my library also uses Hoopla, so you can get music and movies and stuff off Hoopla, and then they automatically return themselves. So,
I don't know.
Right. So even like if I want to get a movie like for Ari, I'll just get it on my card on Hoopla, and then I can cast it to the TV. So like, it's really not like a thing. But our library here does not have fines on books. But and they even say it like on their website. They're like, after a certain amount of time, it's like 6 months or something, they'll eventually just count the book as like lost or whatever, and then fine you that way. But it takes like a considerable amount of time before they'll do it.
Yeah,
it's like 6
I think ours is like, if you're 30 days past like due, they'll charge you like a replacement fee, which is still like not crazy expensive, but it's like $5 or something, which is not really, I try to stay within that, obviously.
Right.
But like, sometimes I'll get like, our library, I don't know if yours does this, but it'll have like, for really popular releases, it'll have like a 7-day loan instead of a 3-week loan, just because they need to like cycle through them faster. But I'm like, really, I have a month and 7 days. I don't actually have 7 days.
Right.
So like,
I actually have 37 days. It's fine.
I actually have 37 days. Oh, sorry. Kid.
Yeah.
1 second. I was like, there's a kid coming in this room. I was like, the door of it. I was like, what?
But yeah, my kid is literally sitting on my floor eating pizza and watching Harry Potter. So
I was like, it was more just like when a door starts opening and you're just like, what the heck is happening? Like, you're just like, murderer.
Right. No, but I understood why they got rid of the fees during COVID. I just didn't understand why like a bunch of libraries didn't bring the fees back. None of the libraries I'm a part of, like that I've physically been into, which is 3 of them, by the way. But my Florida library, my Iowa library from my hometown where I'm from, and then the library that's here in Indiana, none of y'all have fees anymore.
No,
that's not a good idea. Like, people are just gonna be like, it's fine, I'll just pay my $5 or $10.
100%.
So sorry. Like,
and also like, okay, maybe I will but I'll keep it the 29 extra days I can keep it. Right. So like, I try not to do that, obviously, because I know people want to read the books, but like, I'm like, hey, I want to read it too, and I haven't had time yet. So,
yeah, like Sam just asked me yesterday. He's like, he's like, oh my gosh, didn't those library books have to go back? And I was like, no, I renewed them like a week ago. They go back. They're supposed to go back on the 1st. Will they go back on the 1st? Who knows? I might just renew them again until they're like, sorry, ma'am, you can't renew these any longer. And then I'll be like, hey, I need you to take these to the library to drop these off.
Yeah. Luckily, I do live really close, so it's like not super difficult. to
Yeah.
go to the library because I do live really close. And our library, because like I live in it's not in comparison to like some of the bigger towns in like the world. It's not a huge city, but it's not like super small either. Like we have like 3 million people live in my city. You know, like it's not minuscule. It's not huge. It's like medium of the road.
Somewhere in the
But
middle.
like, yeah, but we have like obviously like in the suburbs there's a library, and in the city there's a library. Like there's probably like 10 in our, you know, surrounding area, but they're all linked together.
That's how ours are. We have like
really nice.
Okay, then sit down. We have like 50 something branches, and they're
Yeah.
like, you can literally drop your library books off at any branch. And I'm like, okay.
They're like, you can take it anywhere, just bring it back.
I will say that they have less waiting time on Libby. Like the Indiana library, because there's so many branches of it, they have such minuscule waiting times that's the first library that I check, because they have way more selection, probably because
this
like,
is my issue with ours is our Libby times are horrendous. They are so long, and I'm like, people, I need audiobooks, which is probably why I just got Scribd, because I'm like, I need something other than Libby, because the wait lists are just too long. So then I ended up getting Scribd, and I actually do like Scribd quite a bit. I'm still trying to like figure it out, but you know, it's pretty
like Scribd,
easy.
but I only use it for audio because there's no way to send the ebooks to my Kindle. And a big reason that I went to a Kindle, because I tried doing like the Kindle app on my iPad. First of all, I have a ginormous iPad. Okay. I have the 11-inch Pro, which is like, there's only 2 Pros for the iPads. And so like the next size up is the 12.9, which is like the size of my laptop. But like, it's awkward to hold it. Like, I'm not trying to hold it to read. Like, I'm just not. Like, this is a case for it. So like holding this, like it doesn't have the iPad in it. But
that's what I mean. Like it's too hard to hold it. Yeah.
My arm's going to fall off. But also reading on a screen that has blue light gives me migraines, even with the blue light block in my glasses. And so I was like, well, this isn't really going to work. Yeah. But I don't get any migraines with the Kindle, just like I don't get migraines with ebooks or with physical books. But I only use Scribd for the audio, but I can find a lot of audio on Scribd that is harder to find other places. So I'm always like, use that. Otherwise, I try to use Libro FM, because Libro, when you get your credits, they donate to, like, you can pick a bookstore to donate to.
Oh, nice.
So I donate to a local bookstore that's like a kids bookstore, I think. It's like called like Kids Creation or something. I donate to them. So every time that I pay my thing, it donates a little bit of the money.
Okay. I'm going to just put us in a sprint really quick, because I don't know what's happening up there, but I'm going to go. I need to go look into it. I'm like, what is happening? Hold on. You can read on your iPad or on your phone. Yeah. My eyes strain too easily. Yeah. I totally understand that.
And says, listen, they're just like, please just bring it back.
Bring it back. Okay. I mean, I'm going to put us into a sprint because there's lots of noises going on upstairs. So I'm going to go look into those. And this is going to be our last sprint because it's getting late here. But yeah, let's do our last sprint.
Hey everybody, that was our last sprint. I read like a chapter and then I got tired and started scrolling my phone. So that's what I did. You know, it's all good. How did everybody else do? Did you lose your book?
No, I lost the stupid. Listen, I need new AirPods.
Oh, I just got new AirPods.
Mine lasted 2 years and then they just died because that's what they do. So at like tax time or whatever, after I had gotten like all of the things that we needed after we had moved, I bought Raycons and they are not my favorite thing. Like I should have just because I was like, I'm just not going to spend the $250 or whatever the heck it is for the AirPod Pros. I need ones that go in my ear. And I was like, it's fine. I'll just get Raycons. They're only $70. Absolutely not. I mean, they're fine unless I have to talk to people. Like I use them at work and I have to turn them whatever I'm listening to like way down if people are talking to me because the noise canceling in them makes it so that literally even if you only have one in, it feels like your whole ear is plugged.
Yeah.
And it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I just got new ones. I didn't get like Apple ones. I forget what the brand they are. I actually don't mind them. They're not too bad. Like I can have a whole conversation with my son and can still like, take in surrounding things, which is good. Because obviously I need that in headphones because most of the time I'm listening like in the middle of the day when there's like people sometimes need me to respond to them. So, I would love to use noise canceling, but like that's not my life.
Yeah. So the AirPod Pros, they had both the noise canceling and the transparency mode. And if you only have one in your ear, like if you only have one in your ear, it automatically does transparency mode. But also, nice. I was like, oh, I won't miss the extra features that I have with my AirPods because I have an iPhone. So with my AirPods, like they'll automatically connect to whatever device I'm trying to use. I can connect them seamlessly to my Apple Watch. Like you can use the Hey Siri command, which you can't really do with Raycons. Like you have to hold it, but you can't now. No one's my computer was like low. Siri came alive. I'm like,
like you were talking to me.
Yeah, but like there are features that are part of that like I do miss, but it's fine. Good night, Ari.
Well, I am going to wrap these up for tonight because I am getting so tired. But
me too.
Like you worked all day. I'm like I didn't do that. All I did was watch Sarah Sports all day. I edited videos. I mean, that's work in and of itself, but not the kind, you're definitely must be tired. So anyway, we are going to call it a night here. Do you have sprints this week? Anything that you want to promote for people? There's not that many people left. People have knocked off, but if people watch the replay,
yes, I do. I have sprints on Tuesday at 10 p.m. And then I have sprints on Wednesday, but the time is to be determined because I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do sprints in the morning or in the afternoon. Lay down. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. And then I have sprints Friday during the day. Usually they start at like 10 a.m. Eastern, and then Saturday at 8 p.m.
There you go. Awesome. And we have our Verity live show on Saturday too.
I was about to say that.
and I may have sprints this week. I just don't know when they're going to be. So keep tuned on the channels for any impromptu or somewhat hastily scheduled things. And that's it. But good night, everybody.